I'm Stephen John Drew from the official GonnaGeek.com show, a weekly geek news podcast that is a part of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the show you're checking out now. Shows on the network are individually owned, and opinions expressed may not reflect others. Find other awesome geeky shows at GonnaGeekNetwork.com.
Stand by for a brand new episode of All Things Good and Nerdy.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 507 of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. This is recorded live on Sunday, November 13th, 2022. I am Chris, and if you were here for our pre-show, you heard some in-depth Marvel Snapchat because we love the game, and I'm sure we'll get to it later on in this show, but we play it a lot, so if you've been playing Marvel Snap, let us know in the chat. Share some of your best decks. We're happy to discuss with you. Always looking for some suggestions on new deck combos to try. Isn't that right, Mr. Willie Nelson?
I mean, if you want me to show you my deck, all you do is ask.
You showed me your deck the other night. I have a copy of your knockaround deck in my Marvel Snap.
Yeah, he has a picture of my knockers.
Everyone gets knocked around in there. Willie just comes in, he's like, boom, 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 and that's how the deck works.
You just gotta treat them like bongos, right?
Yeah, just bang on the bongo drum.
Bang on my drum.
Well, if Will's going to show us knockers, I'm going to show everybody my dick deck.
Oh my! I don't know that anyone can see it right now.
All right, so I'm gonna let you know something that I
there
learned,
it is,
Bachman.
Yeah,
is that you have to turn your brightness way down.
Way down.
Like it's gonna look bad to you, but when you show it to that, it looks perfect.
Should also point out, since we're doing intros, that was Anthony Bachman right there showing off his dick deck for Marvel Snap.
I mean, if we're showing knockers and dicks, why not? Everybody show your snap. Snapper. What?
I don't use Snapchat. I don't understand it. I had a Snapchat account like 3 years ago, and I never understood it.
Yeah, I think I had one like 5 years ago, and I randomly got an email like last month. It's like, oh, this so-and-so spam bot account is following you on Snapchat. And I'm like, wait, I still have Snapchat? Okay, unsubscribe, delete. Like, what? The fact that like there's still just random bots out there following accounts is just ridiculous.
I mean, gotta get that work in to get those follows.
Yeah, no. At the moment, I'm sticking. I got rid of Facebook already. At the moment, I'm sticking with Twitter and Instagram. We'll see how it goes.
I'm enjoying the Twitter ride. As our friend Cody Goff put it, formerly from Unqualified Gamers, it's like watching The Onion unfold. It's like The Onion on Twitter, basically. That's what it is, because you don't know what's real and what's fake anymore, and it's delightfully fun. Yeah. But the problem is when you don't know what's real, it leads to some problems when there's some news that happens. We'll touch on that later in the show, and you're like, I'm seeing this on Twitter, but I don't know if this is true. And then I was like, what are other places I can check? And none of them are quite as efficient for real-time news notification as Twitter, which is problematic now because Twitter's infested with a bunch of people pretending to be sources of news and real accounts, which we'll touch on later too.
I'm going to tell you, everyone, don't go to Twitter for your news.
No, it shouldn't be that's your only source of news, but for breaking news, you can find out about it and then know to research more.
Because Twitter was the fastest way for things to get, for information to spread.
No, but never worked for me. And Twitter's never helped me. It's like, why is there a fire truck on this on-ramp over here with a...
So you're looking at more local reasons than...
That's local news. Nobody on Twitter gives a shit about your fire truck.
Willie does, is what he just mouthed for those of you.
And Willie's hardly ever on Twitter. So, yeah.
At South Porky, you mean?
I mean, if I start getting hate mail, I might be on it more. Let's find out.
Nobody sent us any hate mail in a while. I'm kind of disappointed.
I miss it.
I got some shitty tweets from West Virginia football fans who didn't like my hot takes on football when theirs were wrong.
When theirs were wrong?
Oh, it blew up my mentions for like 3 days. It was bad. I was laughing about it mostly, but I was like, some of you people are dumb.
That's true. The world is full of lots.
Is this a fact or is it an opinion, Chris?
Well, it's coming from me. It's a fact. I would never steer you wrong, Willie.
So I'm already against you.
I would never steer you wrong. I'm always on your side, sort of. I need you to know what kind of Mountain Dew I want to drink.
Well, let me know.
I'm going to the store after the show. What Mountain Dew do I need to buy?
Oh, you're asking me. I thought you meant the reverse way. Like, you're telling me what you're going to get. Oh, you're asking me what you should get.
Why would I tell you and then not want feedback?
I don't know. I thought it was weird.
You're the Dew authority, not me.
Well, the way you worded it was really weird, but I mean,
was it really?
But all right then.
Your Captain Dew review.
What store are you going to?
Kroger. A regular grocery store, not a gas station, anything like that. Mm-hmm. You do have Kroger in North Carolina,
you know
don't
what?
you?
I think they got rid of them. We did have them.
Okay.
I'm going to say you should get a 12-pack of just regular Mountain Dew.
What if they have the zero version? Is that an acceptable substitution?
Yes.
Okay. Then I will look and see if they have that. I like the zero version of these sodas.
Well, I just meant like the regular flavor. You can do the diet,
standard
the zero, whatever
Dew.
you want. Standard Dew.
The OG.
The OD. Wait.
That's not a good joke for the state I live in.
Oh, it especially isn't, but it's hilarious to me.
Wait. OD in the state you live in?
Yeah, there's a big opiate problem in West Virginia. The opiate companies kind of savaged our people
OD.
here.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, when they do regular, like during the summer, less so during the winter, there's like every other weekend basically drives to go, hey, here's where you can get your Narcan pen and get trained on how to use it for people because of the prevalence of overdoses and stuff like that. I mean, it saves lives at least, but man, addiction's a terrible, terrible thing.
Yeah, as I smoke a cigarette.
And drink Mountain Dew.
Yeah. As Willie feeds his
I'm not addicted
monster.
to Mountain Dew.
As I drink coffee.
Lies.
I'm not addicted to Mountain Dew. I'm addicted to sugar.
Look, I'm drinking coffee right now that's heavily caffeinated, so I can't judge.
Hey, just like the Beastie Boys said, I like my sugar with coffee and cream.
Classical music, those Beastie Boys.
Doesn't it hurt when you hear something that you grew up listening to in like junior high or high school and it's on the classical station?
I was more referencing the joke from Star Trek, but I don't know if anyone's actually calling it. Now, they might be calling it oldies at this point in time because we're old.
I mean,
when they assign the plates to cars, anything over 30 years is a classic.
In my area, we have a radio station called Rock 92, Classic Rock 92, full title. And they've ever since I was a kid in the 90s, they were playing 80s rock. So anything more than 10 years, I guess, is an oldie or classic.
Wow. Yeah, it threw me the first day I was listening to, we have a classic rock station here in Idaho, J105, and the day I heard Metallica on the classic rock station, is like, oh dang.
Oh, jeez.
I remember when they came out.
I mean, those relics.
They're relics now, but I mean, yeah, I remember when their first album hit. Like, I'm that old.
Yeah. I listen to a lot of 90s and 2000s rock, I determined, because that's the channel I listen to on Sirius XM all the time, is the Turbo channel, which is pretty much all that.
But Chris, how do you have the time to listen to them whine?
I see what you did. Well,
I'm purposely
about everything.
I did it without
and
melody.
Nothing all at once.
Not that I'm any great musical authority, people. I just enjoy listening to music while I work during the day.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
Well, when you went to that whore, what'd she say to you?
Wow.
That's not very nice, Willie.
But it was something.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you went to that sexual worker.
Point of clarification: this never happened, so please don't paint me with that brush, Willie. Can't wait until they do the next investigation for work.
Green Day song.
Yes, I know.
I know you know. It's for everyone.
Yeah,
even though they know, I don't know why you have to specify.
Look,
Chris.
We got to make sure the investigator knows.
Look, here's the thing. Like, Green Day is now considered like old rock, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And I'm like, oh, I guess.
I mean, it depends upon which.
They're classic alternative.
Yeah, I mean, even like the American Idiot era stuff is technically old now, because I was like, I guess that is. That's 15 plus
punk.
years. Sorry, what?
to be alternative punk.
They all get lumped into the same category, it seems like, for these classic stations.
Fair enough.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
We need some good 80s rock, though.
Depends.
John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band.
Look, guys,
No.
here's the time I knew when I was old, and it was when I was in college, and it was when I was a senior in college. And the one bar we went to used to have a room they called the 80s room, and all it did was play 80s music. My last semester in college, it changed into the 90s room, and I went, oh, shit, I'm old.
But what you said your last year in college?
Yes, which would have been 2007, which is still a
I
ways
was about
back.
to say, that
but-
was 7 years. I mean, the 90s. I mean, sure, why not? And there's nothing wrong with the 90s. I was playing a game of Quicksort. If you remember my review of the Jackbox Party Pack 9
Vaguely,
that
yes.
came out. Quicksort was like a sorting one, and one of them was sorting these TV shows by the year they came out, or something like that. It was something similar to that, but it was a little bit more minutiae. But you get what I mean. Yeah, Friends came out a lot later than I thought it did. That Friends didn't start coming out till '98.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah,
it
for
was
some
sooner.
reason. Yeah, I did too.
I thought it was like 94 or 96. Huh.
I did too. Actually, maybe that game was wrong.
I don't know. I would have to refer to the Google machine to know.
Well, it does say 94. Then because they said 98, and I was like, what?
Yeah, that's wrong.
Yeah, no, Friends was 94. Yeah, because it started before I graduated high school.
Me too.
The game has made some mistakes then with some of the things.
You should report it for an issue.
You know what? Maybe if I catch it next time, I'll catch it.
Yeah, the 10 seasons of Friends is 94 to 2002.
Yeah,
I graduated in 96,
2004.
went to the Navy, and then got out in 2002. So yeah, Friends lasted longer than my Navy career. And I was in the military for 6 years.
Listen, I was more of a Seinfeld kid.
See, that tells you everything.
What's
Yeah,
wrong with Seinfeld? Seinfeld's far superior to Friends. It's actually funny. It holds up.
Oh, I still own all 10 seasons on DVD. I love it.
I mean,
I was one of those people. Like Seinfeld was like my Rick and Morty. I did not like it the first time I watched it.
Friends
I
is
had to go
privileged
back.
white people complaining about white people problems.
Hey! Sometimes it's not your day, your week, your month, or hell, even your year. But we still press on.
That's true.
Thank you, Willie. I don't know. Friends never really clicked for me, so maybe that's why it just. I have friends that are all like, "Oh, I love Friends. I'm so glad it was on Netflix. I could just watch it all the time." I'm like, Friends? I mean, at the same time, I'm a dude that'll just
sitcom humor of Friends was perfect for me.
Yeah, I got to also keep in mind everyone has their comfort shows. Like for me, it's if I'm having a crappy day and just want something to zone out on, I turn on like Community or something like that, and that's my comfort show. So that's Friends for some folks, I guess. I just don't
watch
get
random YouTube videos. It's always
There's that
new,
too.
Snippy, snappy,
Yeah,
snappy.
though technically, yeah, it is. I think the whitest representation of New York in the history of representations of New York.
Right. Yeah, New York's a pretty diverse city, and
Aisha Tyler's the only African American that shows up on that entire show after 10 seasons, if I remember correctly. Like it's a small number. It's a very small number of anybody that's not just white.
Lesbians, at least.
I guess
True,
they
there
did.
There was some other type of representation. It's true, but yeah, it was a very milk toast New York for sure.
I mean, wasn't also what was that show? How I Met Your Mother. Isn't that New York as well?
Yeah,
Yes.
but so is Seinfeld. That main cast is all white.
What about the lawyer? Kramer's lawyer. I forget his name. He was definitely modeled after
the Johnny Cochran.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they
That
had a
dude was
recurring
hilarious.
character, but I'm saying, yeah, all of those
get a
shows
couple of
starred, fully white casts. Like there wasn't very much ethnicity mixed into the casting.
Then we got V, who's like, I like both Friends and Seinfeld.
Yeah, I like them both now.
Good.
Yeah, I was just one of those people. Like Seinfeld was the same thing for me, like Rick and Morty was. First time I watched like 3 or 4 episodes, I was like, "This is awful," and I came back to Seinfeld years later on reruns. I think in the Navy, and like I caught one. I was like, "Oh, that was hilarious."
I'm not even a huge Seinfeld fan. It's just it will actually make me laugh. Whereas if I sit down and watch an episode of Friends, I'm like, what?
Yeah, see, Matt LeBlanc will always get me. Matt LeBlanc and then Matthew Perry's
doing?
Chandler. Yeah, Joey and Chandler always got me.
Man, Matthew Perry's an enormous tool. You saw him going after Keanu Reeves recently, right? I was like, how could you have beef with Keanu Reeves?
Yeah, that was a bad choice that he made, and he instantly went back on it.
Right? Because if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the internet loves Keanu.
Yeah.
So the internet was like, you douchebag, leave our Keanu alone. He's God's national treasure. We love him.
And if I can make the joke, I'm gonna make it. Matthew Perry. Matthew, what's the fuck his name?
Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc. Yeah. Who am I thinking of?
What, Joey?
Joey?
Wait.
Or are you thinking
who's Chandler then?
Chandler's Matthew Perry.
Chandler is Matthew Perry.
Matthew Perry, that's who I was talking about. Yeah, that dude. That dude right now, he looks like a dad who has a 14-year-old daughter, and he's a little too friendly with her friends. That's what he looks like right now. That mustache goatee thing he's got going on. He looks like he's trying to be in a biker gang and just got failed out.
So V was asking, didn't hear the stuff about Keanu and Matthew Perry. So he had his book coming out, Matthew Perry, and he was on his book tour and stuff like that. And I guess there's two moments in the book, and I'm just paraphrasing from what I found on the Google machine to get the exact quote. Twice throughout the book, which came out on November 1st, he apparently compares Keanu Reeves unfavorably to other actors who have died. One specific quote saying, "Why is it that the original thinkers like River Phoenix and Heath Ledger die, but Keanu Reeves still walks among us?"
Did Matthew Perry even know those two guys?
Evidently, he was good friends with River Phoenix, I guess, or something like that. But so was Keanu Reeves, was my understanding.
I've always heard that a lot of people
My Private Idaho.
Good friends with River Phoenix, or were good friends with River Phoenix.
Well, and to be fair, Matthew Perry walked about. He was trying to say like River Phoenix and Heath Ledger, like those were like shooting star, like too bright, burn out too early. It's sad when those people are lost. And Keanu wasn't really a shooting star young, but he's still around. And when he walked it back, he's like, no, I should have just sent me. Like I just meant me. Like why are people like that are so talented and so vibrant die young, and then here I am being hooked on drugs, and then I end up living. And like that's what he meant. And it was a really dumb idea for him to pull the name Keanu because all it did was get him in trouble.
Yeah, the other one was Chris Farley, I guess he said, referring to the death of Chris Farley in '97. He said, I punched a hole through Jennifer Aniston's dressing room wall when I found out Keanu Reeves walks among us. Man, fuck you. You took 2 shots at Keanu in your book.
Yeah, that was dumb.
But why?
I don't know. Evidently they have beef of some kind or something. I don't know.
Could be.
Keanu's like the nicest dude out there. Like, have you ever heard anyone that has a legit complaint about Keanu Reeves?
But also there's the thing. So Keanu's an easy target, but also it's not going to hurt him. Like if Matthew Perry, dealing with all of his drug issues, takes a shot at Keanu, that doesn't hurt Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, but this is sober Matthew Perry putting this in his book. This isn't like Keanu. This isn't him struggling with his drug issue and saying something like that. This is he's arguably sober and takes a shot.
I'm saying maybe these were his thoughts at the time, and so he rehashed them into the book. I'm not saying it's a good idea, but maybe that's the shot.
I don't know. I think someone's a little salty that Keanu Reeves has had a much better career later in life.
Because between Johnny Utah, Sad Keanu, or John Wick, you can't fuck with the man.
When's the last time you saw?
He's unstoppable.
Willie, when's the last time you saw Matthew Perry in something?
The whole 9 yards, probably.
That was what, 20 years ago?
That was like 2002, 2003.
20 years ago.
Sometime around there.
V's got one in the chat room too. Keanu got sober sooner. Maybe he's jealous.
I don't know. It's just.
Listen, I don't know why he's upset. He's got friends' money. You got friends' money. You're
it's not like the man ever has to work.
Chill the fuck out, dude.
I don't know. Maybe we're all a bit more sensitive to it because Keanu's kind of become like this figure on the internet that everyone's like, hey, Keanu's this great source of positivity. You hear all these good stories about him, like just being out in the world doing cool stuff. Like people see him at a hotel bar, like, hey, I'm getting married tomorrow. You want to come? And like he shows up at the wedding and stuff like that. Same kind of stories we hear about Tom Hanks. Well, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, not even that though, but like the fact that whenever you see video of Keanu Reeves, like it's him on a subway giving up his seat for a woman or a pregnant mom or a mom and their kid. Like those are the videos of people capturing Keanu doing things, is him being an actual nice guy. Like those are the gotcha videos of Keanu, is him giving up his seat on a subway so that someone else can sit down. Like, that's the type of actual person he is in real life, which is just amazing. Yeah, he seems like he's 100% a nice guy.
Not to say I'm doubting any of that.
I mean, if Keanu isn't like a legit nice guy, it's the biggest con ever at this point in time. Because
if he's an actual hidden asshole, it's like the best acting job he's ever done.
Like Tom Hanks and Keanu Reeves. When's the last time you heard someone say anything mean about them?
Yeah, you mean America's Dad?
Are you serious?
What would Tom Hanks do?
Remember people were saying about the fucking Epstein shit a while back. I don't fucking know anything. I just remember his name was getting thrown around on the ledger or whatever. I don't fucking know.
I don't remember
rumors.
Although I do enjoy random Rick Reviews comments in the chat room. But what if Keanu planted that person on the subway and taped it? And what if Keanu punches puppies at a shelter?
Then he faked being super nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I guess that's
still the biggest. Better being caught with other shit.
I guess that's the biggest point, though, is when you see comments get out like that, you're like, Keanu Reeves is like the worst person to target because, I mean, you could argue that he doesn't have potentially the greatest skill as an actor, but the dude's a legit nice guy, takes care of his fellow cast members and crewmates, and just makes movies that people enjoy. Maybe they're not like Academy Award winning the greatest stuff ever, but like I can sit down and watch any of the John Wick movies, and I've seen them all multiple times, and I'll enjoy the hell out of them. I can go back and rewatch the Matrix movies and enjoy the hell out of them.
Not that last one.
You know, well, which one? The last in the trilogy or the new one? Because I
said that last one. I specified.
I liked the new one actually. I thought it was fun.
I don't think I'm ever going to watch it again.
That's fair. I've watched it a couple times, and that's probably enough, but I enjoyed it.
It basically took them 3 movies to get back to the ending they had at the first movie, except Trinity's next to him flying around like Superman. It's basically the end of the first movie again. That's what the end of the 4th movie is.
Yes.
Which is kind of weird.
I will have to agree with Random Rick Review in the chat saying I'd rather watch a Keanu movie than most Academy Award movies. Well, yeah. But you remember, we aren't the targets, and I'll just use the collective we. Probably if you're watching our podcast or listening to it, you have similar tastes to us, which is like comic book movies, big adventure movies, things like that. That's not the stuff you see at the Academy Awards, at least in the main categories. You'll see it like nominated for special effects and for music and stuff like that. But like having
if you're lucky, original screenplay.
Yeah, having a superhero movie nominated is the exception to the norm. And like I would argue Heath Ledger is absolutely deserving of the award that he won. But had he not died, he never would have been nominated and won an Academy Award for The Joker in The Dark Knight.
He might have been nominated. He definitely wouldn't have won. Yeah, they wouldn't have given it to him if he hadn't died.
I mean, and I hold that opinion. And like Black Panther, I don't think it would have been nominated for Best Picture had it not been as... I'm trying to think of the best way to put it. Had it not just hit pop culture around the world as being such a big deal and representation mattering and seeing all of these people like, holy shit, a superhero that looks like me, a superhero that represents me, and like the reaction it had and the fact that so many people responded positively to that film, that's the only reason it got nominated. Because they couldn't ignore it because of what a big deal it was.
It was a cultural phenomenon, that made it was, what Cody Rhodes calls it, undeniable.
Yeah.
There was no way the Academy could act like Black Panther wasn't the biggest movie in the world that year.
Will, you look like you're in deep thought.
Well, I'm trying to remember what year it came out.
Let's see. Black Panther was
2017, 2018, something like that.
I want to say 2017. I'm trying to remember what other movies came out that year.
Well, let's get the Black Panther
2018.
Okay.
2018. I don't know. Hereditary is pretty good. I believe that came out in 2018.
There's no way Hereditary could have been nominated in the same categories as Black Panther. Hereditary is good.
I didn't know that was a stipulation going into this. You just said one of the best movies that came out that year. I was like, all right.
The Academy's also not going to nominate like Best Picture to a creepy, weird, off-the-wall horror film.
I didn't know we were including the Academies in what we were talking about, but all right.
And so Black Panther was the first superhero film to receive a Best Picture nomination. I'm just trying to find what was...
What were they thinking back when Blank Man came out? That should have won. Fucking love Blank Man.
Yeah, so 2018, you had the new Halloween, the 3rd movie called Halloween. You had Hereditary. You had the remake of Suspiria, Deadpool 2, A Quiet Place. If a horror movie was going to get nominated, it would have been A Quiet Place, even though that's like an alien sci-fi. But that would have been more popular for the Academy than Hereditary. And then you had Avengers: Infinity War, Ready Player One, Mandy, Into the Spider-Verse came out the same year.
Mandy was good.
What the Academy had was Bohemian Rhapsody and Green Book.
Oh, yeah.
They had a white people feeling racist movie and a great dead musician movie, which those always rule at the Academy Awards.
Well, did Rocket Man win?
I don't think so.
I don't
think
think so.
Year
this is requiring me to remember. I don't watch the Academy
Yeah.
Awards, to be honest.
Who does?
Not
I
many.
watch the highlights. I want to see who knocked who out.
I want to see who won some of the stuff if I care, but
Yeah, who won? Who
like
won the fight?
the
That's
stuff
all
I
need to
care
know.
about for
Give me the
awards
headlines
anymore.
after the fact.
The stuff I care about for awards anymore isn't necessarily like Best Picture. It's more like I get real intrigued by like the visual effects side of the house and the music and things like that. Best Picture,
Yeah.
the nominees
award
and the
show's
voters'
coming
heads
out
are so
soon.
far up their ass that's not going to be anything I care
it.
about, and it's probably something I haven't seen.
A little bit of
Rocket
foreshadowing.
Man was the next year, 2019, and that was the year of Midsommar, Doctor Sleep, It
Midsommar.
Chapter 2, Knives Out, Joker,
Nice.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. And Parasite won everything.
Oh.
So
I still haven't seen
Yeah.
Parasite.
I haven't either.
Rocket Man didn't have a chance. Parasite's an amazing film.
Oh, I've heard that. I just haven't had a chance to see it.
It's one of those ones that's so good it makes you feel uncomfortable.
But
like
a little bit of
It'll hit you in the feelings, just not in a way you want.
a little bit of foreshadowing here. The award show that I do like to watch yearly is coming out sometime in December. It usually comes out in December. Does anyone want to cater a guess to what that is?
Game Awards.
You're right, boy.
Boy.
It'll be curious since Twitter canned their whole side of the house that worked to support the Game Awards and Game Division, whether they still are able to do all of their tie-ins they did with Twitter for like live streaming it and having tweet reveals and things like that and all the specific emojis for specific hashtags and stuff like that. Gonna be very
I think we're
interesting.
going to see a lot of that stuff go away.
I do too. That's also a teaser for some stuff we'll be discussing later. And since we've been teasing a bunch of stuff, we should probably just get over it and roll on into our news right now.
Live from the ATGN studios on the internet, it's the news of the week.
So we're here with the news of the week. It's when we recap what is in our minds some of the most interesting or noteworthy things to have popped up here in the world of geek in the last week or so. And we would not be doing things justice if we didn't talk about some sad news that came out. So we're gonna address the sad news first, and then we'll get some lulls in after that. But I think it's important that we discuss Bachman's news story. I don't want to take anything away from you. So why don't you kick us off here?
Talk about the 17-year-old that won a full scholarship to attend Juilliard's drama division, and after graduating Juilliard went on a world tour in The Death Trap. As an amazing Hollywood actor that most people don't know from ever having seen his face, because of the character that he's done the most and that he's done more than anybody else. He spent roughly 30 years as the voice of Batman. We did sadly lose Kevin Conroy this week, which just hurts. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure everybody on this cast is a fan of Batman in the animated series.
Very much so.
Oh, I watched it growing up.
Yeah, and I mean, let's see. I pulled it up here on IMDb. So it's 92 to 95, and it's 92. So I graduated in 96. So I would have been 14 when the show came out. So this was literally come home from junior high, turn on the TV, and like I was there watching Fox 12 in Nampa, Idaho when it premiered. And I remember seeing these like crazy Zeppelins and weird like 1920s looking gangsters. But then like there was, this super fast Batmobile that had these, crazy gadgets. So there's this weird, this very strange world where it's like, okay, so it's not the 66 Batman. It's not Baf Pim Zao. It's not bright and cheery, but it's also not that Tim Burton that we had in 89 where it's all dark and dreary all the time. Like you've got a really bright, colorful Joker. You've got these other villains that are very, big and shiny. And then yeah, the one thing I think that hit almost everybody at first was the voice. You hear the voice of Batman, it's like, oh, that's what Batman sounds like. And Kevin Conroy nailed it. And after that, there basically hasn't. I know a couple other actors have done, like, we've got like the Dietrich Bader Batman in The Brave and the Bold. There's been a few other ones, but it really has been Kevin Conroy. And going to the article, which I love the one that they did for DC, they did it on one of their homepages, and it's not even attributed to anybody, just from DC Publicity. Kevin Conroy, the preeminent voice of Batman, passes away at 66. Let's see, where was it? Yeah, sadly it was a battle with cancer. So once again, like Green Arrow said, fuck cancer. Like, I'm right there with Stephen Amell. We really got to figure that shit out. But yeah, it includes 15 films highlighting the acclaimed Batman the Mask of Phantasm. Oh yeah, he was Batman in nearly 60 different productions. 15 films, 15 animated series, 400 episodes, more than 100 hours of television, 24 video games, and then what we are also, privileged to see through the Arrowverse when they did the Crisis on Infinite Earths, we also got to see Conroy featured as the live-action Bruce Wayne on one of those Infinite Planets during the Crisis on Infinite Earths event, where we actually got to see him play a Bruce Wayne in the harness, a la Alex Ross's Kingdom Come. So he was like the badass, older, like exoskeleton Bruce Wayne. And then, yeah, there's just, some really good quotes in here. See, Kevin was far more than an actor whom I had the pleasure of casting and directing. He was a dear friend for 30-plus years whose kindness and generous spirit knew no bounds, said Emmy Award-winning casting dialogue director Andrea Romano. Kevin's warm heart, delightfully deep laugh, and pure love of life will be with me forever. And then from Mark Hamill said, Kevin was perfection, recalled Mark Hamill, who redefined the Joker playing opposite Conroy's Batman. He was one of my favorite people on the planet. I loved him like a brother. He truly cared for the people around him. His decency shone through everything he did. Every time I saw him or spoke with him, my spirits were elevated. And then, yeah, the dude had just a amazing career. And they ended up, it was something like they went through the casting process for Batman. And they listed, I want to say the number, it was ridiculous. It was like 500 Despite not being a fan of the comics, Mr. Conroy landed the title role in Batman the Animated Series after the show's producers, unimpressed with more than 500 other actors who were auditioned, were transfixed by the gravitas that Mr. Conroy brought. Alan Burnett, writer and producer of the series, told The Times, and the show premiered Fox Network in 92. Yeah, he said, what was it? Mr. Conroy said of the role, it's so much more fun as an actor to sink your teeth into. Calling it animation doesn't do it justice. It's more like mythology. And then, yeah, there was like, what was that one quote? I'm pulling from multiple articles. Sorry,
while you're
guys.
doing that, I'll just say this: if you want to say that voice actors and stuff are not as good as regular actors, go watch Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. The line where Bruce is at his parents' grave and Kevin Conroy nails it, where he's like, "I didn't expect to be happy," and you can just hear the heartbreak, you can hear the emotion in it. Where, for those who aren't aware, Batman: Mask of the Phantasm, arguably the best Batman movie ever made, but it's all about, in parts of it, how he becomes the Bat. It's partly an origin story, and Kevin Conroy absolutely nails that element of, I didn't expect to be happy, and the guilt he feels talking to his parents that maybe he's not going to be Batman because he's found love and he's happy that he never thought would happen to him. It's astoundingly well done. He was so talented, so talented.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. This is the part from the article in the New York Times. So at 17, he received a scholarship to Juilliard where he started to hone his acting skills. He shared an apartment with Robin Williams. Can you imagine what that apartment was like? Holy moly. Mr. Conroy began his career in theater in New York at the Old Globe Theater in San Diego. According to DC Comics, he found success in the late 1980s, first off, and then on Broadway and Eastern Standard, a comedy with serious overtones in which he played a television producer secretly living with AIDS. For those that don't know, Kevin Conroy was a gay man. I went to so many funerals, I felt such a sense of obligation to do it right, Mr. Conroy told The Times. During one moment alone on stage, he would break down. Every night, I would just wail, feeling all the pain. He recalled, I could not feel it. It was a scream of, look what's happening to us, help. After dividing his time between New York and Los Angeles for several years and flipping houses to supplement his income, Mr. Conroy settled in New York full-time in 2000, commuting to Southern California when acting work beckoned. Despite his turbulent childhood, Mr. Conroy said he made peace with his parents in his final years. His parents were a extremely religious family. The addition to his husband, Mr. Conroy is survived by a sister, Tricia Conroy, and her brother Tom. In recent years, Mr. Conroy's commitment to Batman never wavered. Appeared in the CW show that we talked about, and then here it is. Yeah. Earlier in his career, he shared his own story in the 9-page Finding Batman, which was included in the anthology DC Pride. In it, he recounted how much voicing the Cape Crusader meant to him. Like Batman, Mr. Conroy said he had grown adept at concealing parts of himself. Growing up as the gay son in a religious family, he said he was something he finally began to grapple with during his audition for Batman the Animated Series. I began to speak, and a voice I didn't recognize came out, he recalled. It was a throaty, husky, rumbling sound. It seemed to roar from 30 years of frustration, confusion, denial, love, and yearning. I felt Batman rising, he said, from deep within. And so, like, in his audition, like, he literally came up with a voice that he hadn't planned. And that's the voice we then got to enjoy for 30 years. And then there's one story that we have to go over because I've heard it recalled on Kevin Smith's podcast and other podcasts. Yeah.
DC Pride #1 is free on DC's website right now if anyone wants to read it. You just have to have you just need to make an account. They made the whole issue free though.
Fantastic. But yeah, so there's one other story that I've heard it recalled multiple places, but we had to make sure everybody's heard about this. I just Googled it again to find the quickest one I could, and I found an article on what is this, Indy 100? It says Kevin Conroy recalls moving moment 9/11 victims realized Batman was helping them. Let's see, where was it?
There's video of it on my Twitter. I retweeted earlier this week.
Is there video of it? Okay.
It was from a documentary that he did. It was called "I Know That Voice," I think is what it was called, or something.
Yeah,
like that.
in the "I Know That Voice" he does it. Yeah. So in the film, they talk about the film here. He recounts the story. He was helping out at a food relief station in New York the week after 9/11 attacks. The actor begins the story by recalling a conversation he had with a fellow volunteer who was an architect. Conroy says in the middle of the night, 3 nights into this one guy goes, "So my day job is an architect. What's your day job?" And he said, "I do voices mostly." Man then became overexcited after he realized he was talking to. "I knew," said the man, "you're the guy who does Batman. You're that Kevin Conroy." So the guy goes into the dining hall, and this is the first week after the attack, and there's just this somber sadness, and you hear the guy go, guys, you're not going to believe who's cooking your dinner. It's Batman." There's a long silence, and you hear, "Bullshit," from the back of the place. Then somebody else said, "Make him prove it." And I was like, oh, this is good. Not wanting to let the good people down, Conroy decided to recite his classic Batman slogan. He adds, so from the back of the kitchen, "I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman." Then there's this long pause, and you hear from the back, "Holy fuck, that is Batman." And suddenly the whole place was laughing. So yeah, living in New York, this was the type of guy that is a voice actor. Like, he's not a real life superhero. He portrays Batman. But he literally was out there helping out in a food relief shelter for the first responders during 9/11 because he was there. Like, we hear about, like Steve Buscemi, like sneaking out and going and helping his fire department, not telling anybody. Kevin Conroy wasn't there in costume. He's just a voice actor that nobody recognized, especially back then. Recognizing voice actors is, very much a new thing in our society. And he was there in a soup kitchen, basically helping out people. And then, just to, elevate the spirits a little bit, actually yelled at them as Batman. Like, how cool is that? Like, that's the type of guy this guy was. And it's so sad that he passed. And it's so sad that, cancer's took in another amazingly talented human, and fuck cancer.
I mean, you're not wrong. Incredibly talented. This is one of those things I was talking about in the pre-show, and I think in part of the show, that like I first saw it mentioned on Twitter. But the problem was based off of how Twitter has changed as of late. Like, I looked at it and I don't know if this is true. And I had to spend like 10, 15 minutes trying to find other sources that didn't cite Twitter as the fact that he had passed away. Because I guess it came out because one of his fellow voice actors had mentioned it in passing to someone else, I believe, on Twitter. So it all just kind of went back to, well, I don't know who's real, who's not. And eventually it was picked up by a bunch of sources. It's a bummer. It's sad. Just for background, we said he's been in everything. There was a really interesting breakdown. Then I don't know the exact source because my buddy just shared a screenshot of it. But he would establish never to be broken records, as the quintessential voice of Batman, bringing the superhero to life in 60 different promotions, including 15 films, highlighted by Batman Mask of the Phantasm, 15 animated series spanning nearly 400 episodes and more than 100 hours of television, as well as 24 video games. He was the voice of Batman in so many things, and like, he's the voice of a generation of kids who grew up watching that cartoon, watching any of the other productions he's been in, and I guarantee you there is a boatload of people out there that when they read a Batman comic, the voice they hear in their head is Kevin Conroy's Bruce Wayne in Batman. It's what I hear too.
Yep. I'm going to say it right now. The best decision they did for, Batman, not Arkham City, but just Arkham? No, it's the first one. What's the first
Arkham
one?
Asylum?
Arkham Asylum, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the best decision they did was to keep the voice actors from the show.
Yes.
That was the best decision they had.
If you want to go experience some of the best of his acting as Bruce Wayne in Batman, I mean, you could pretty much watch anything and be happy, but the suggestions I would make, Batman Mask of the Phantasm, because he's incredible in it. Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker, because he's incredible in that as an older Batman, but also in flashbacks being younger and having to deal with the fallout of it. And this one hurts to watch, but it is one of the best episodes of Batman the Animated Series. And it doubly hurts right now is the Grey Ghost episode. It's Beware the Grey Ghost, where Adam West plays the role of the Grey Ghost. So you have both the seminal voices of Batman for a couple different generations there that have now passed that are teaming up and working together. It hurts, but it's so good. Like, I think I said online, celebrity deaths don't normally hit me. It's more of, oh man, I really enjoyed their work. But I think this is the first one since Carrie Fisher where I was genuinely like, holy shit, I'm legitimately sad about this because of the impact that he's had in things that I've watched and enjoyed in my life. I'm not going to go out there and be like, oh my God, Kevin Conroy made my life 10,000 times better, because I never knew him like that. But the character he portrayed has been like a fundamental part of my childhood into my adulthood and things like that. And yes, I know he's a super nice guy, but I didn't experience that side of it. So maybe that part doesn't resonate as much. And I don't know, I'm expressing this poorly, I realize, but
so I got a couple more for you. From his IMDb in the trivia section, it says he originally auditioned to play Detective Harvey Bullock in Batman the Animated Series. He believed that playing Batman would be boring and read for Batman only at the behest of the crew. So he wasn't even there to audition for Batman. Like, there's a strange world where Kevin Conroy only did Bullock for like 10 episodes, and then someone else is how that weird world is out there, and I'm glad we don't live in it. I said he's also the only actor to play both Bruce Wayne and Batman in both animation and live action because of the Arrowverse. And then apparently he's publicly stated of the actors who played Batman in live action, Conroy's favorite is Ben Affleck. So he was a fan of the Batfleck. And then there's a bunch of personal quotes from him, but this is one I really love because, I mean, it works for everyone. Everyone is handed adversity in life. No one's journey is easy. It's how they handle it that makes people unique.
Incredibly talented man, by all accounts, incredibly nice and gracious to his fans and his fellow coworkers. Much like Keanu Reeves we were talking about earlier, I've never heard a bad story about Kevin Conroy and his interaction with fans or any of his coworkers, anything like that. It's a legitimate, nice guy who became the voice of generations of kids who grew up into adults now. And I guess if you want to look at, there's no positive to passing, but his impact, I think, is going to live forever as long as those movies and shows are out there. They're going to keep being watched because they keep getting passed down to the next generation because A, they're so good, and B, they're so well done by the people that made them, the voice actors, everything like that.
The influence of that version of Batman is going to be felt for a very, very long time.
I mean, he's Batman, and I don't know him well enough, but I imagine there'd probably be a part of him that would smile knowing that his interpretation of Batman is not going anywhere. People are going to remember it forever.
Oh, for sure.
I don't know, and I don't know that I phrased that well, but I don't know that he was really driven by ego like a bunch of actors are and things like that. So that's why I phrased it as ambiguously as I did.
It definitely doesn't seem like it, especially like if you want to see some of the really cool stuff, go look at all the stuff Mark Hamill's been tweeting in the last couple of days. Mm-hmm. Him playing the Joker opposite of Kevin Conroy, that was where the magic really came in that show. Neither one of them expected what they got. And they both just found like a brotherhood in playing those characters opposite each other that fed each other so well. And yeah, Mark Hamill's basically talked about the way he's looking at it, like he basically lost a brother this week. This is a guy that, they did everything together for such a long time, but those two characters intertwined, and there's no way that, a great hero is always defined by a great villain. And those two guys worked together so well and made so much joy for so many kids and adults watching these shows that it's amazing. Yeah, he's recounted some really cool memories this week, which has been awesome to see.
Yeah, I think so too.
But that's my
He's
sad
gonna be
news.
missed. I have gone back and rewatched some stuff after his passing. Some of it hits differently, and now I'm kind of like, maybe it's time to do another playthrough of the Arkham trilogy.
Or you could just play Gotham Knights.
Yeah, let's not. I've seen the reviews, and it's not his voice. Does he voice Batman in the cinematic?
I don't even know.
I don't either.
It's Gotham Knights. Who cares?
I was hoping it'd go on sale for cheap during Black Friday, but I haven't seen any price drops for it, because then I might actually consider it, but no, it hasn't. So let's move on from the sad news. Let's get some lulz, and we're going to talk about Twitter, because there's some lulz going on there. And I'm not going to get into any personal opinions on the man who owns it and the fact-checking and things like that, but for those that aren't aware, Twitter changed their verification model, meaning for a while there, you could pay $8 to Twitter, and you could have the same blue check mark as those verified journalists, actors, things like that. And for $8, that's going to keep the trolls away, right, guys? There's no troll that's going to pay $8 to screw with people, right?
Never.
Right? Never?
Who would waste money just to mess with people?
Yeah, it didn't work out so
well, I'm not going to say it.
I was going to say, what's Willie's new verified Twitter account?
You think I'm paying $8?
Yeah, Willie is
To
cheap.
fuck with
so-
people? Yes, you
That's
would.
an
I believe you would.
NFT. I don't pay for NFTs, baby.
Right. So-
Especially not one that anyone can have.
Why I wanted to bring this up is it brought up some unexpected hilarity, but there's also some of that hilarity that's led to financial issues for some companies. We won't get into that because that'll get us down a political slant, but go look up the insulin company and what happened to them and how much money they lost. It brought a smile to my face based off of a fake verified account. But we have run into some issues. Let's talk video games. Let's talk pop culture because that's what we dabble in. Go figure. We already had a problem with people making up bullshit in that industry now. Now we had a bunch of people making fake Twitter accounts so they could put out a bunch of shenanigans, I guess is how we should put it. And I'm going to screen share with you guys. Hopefully this is showing up. I'm on an article on Polygon.com. We have at Rockstar Gamzee, because they're expecting people not to notice. On 11/18/22, we will proudly present to you the latest entry in the Grand Theft Auto series. We've been waiting to show this one, GTA 6 hashtag. Wasn't actually them, but now there's a bunch of people who just see Rockstar Games as the name with a check mark next to it and go, oh, holy shit, GTA 6 is coming. You can't trust it. And they also expect that anyone that looks at a glance will see Gamzee and see games in their head because of the nature of how the human mind will kind of overcome some of those misspellings. Then there was also a ripoff of Valve software that said, we're excited to unveil Ricochet Neon Prime, our next competitive platform, this Thursday. Can't wait to see you, where the official PC Gamer account had quoted it and said, no, this isn't true. Be skeptical. We can't trust anything right now.
No.
We'll go down more. There was Nintendo of US that came out that tweeted a photo of Mario. For those that aren't aware.
That's awesome.
I'm screen sharing. You can catch it on the video version we published.
Can I describe it?
Go ahead, Willie. Describe this for the people.
It's Mario giving the old Italian pipe right there for you.
Pretty much. It is Mario with one hand on hip and the other hand with his hand up flipping the bird. And it comes from...
The old Italian pipe.
Comes from
I
an
would
account...
not call that giving the old Italian pipe. That would be keeping up foreign communications like Top Gun.
Jesus Christ, you get what I'm meaning.
So it comes from an account who is titled Nintendo of America with a verified check mark next to them because they paid their $8. And their Twitter handle is Nintendo of US. It's not real. But guess what? People thought it was real. So a bunch of people start crapping all over Nintendo on their official account. Be like, oh my God, I can't believe you guys would tweet that. And they're like, wasn't us. We didn't do it. There's a video embedded here on this article on Polygon that just kind of shows the replies that Nintendo was getting. Yeah, so
Yikes.
that was some of the stuff that came out on that. And why I wanted to bring that up is there was some unintentional hilarity out of some of that. The trolls were pretty funny in some cases. There were economic consequences for some folks. But it did lead us to a new subreddit, which has led to some pretty good lulz, which is @r/Reddit real Twitter accounts, where this is where the trolls come in and they do their thing. So let's go through some of the stuff we're seeing on that Twitter account. We have the official Twitter account at Twitter Support saying, to combat impersonation, we've added an official label to some accounts. And then replying to them is Twitter Support with a verified check mark. No, we fucking didn't. At Twitter Support 2 is their name.
The old Uno reverse.
That one was pretty great.
Fucking didn't.
There's some good memes going around. There's a clip from Spaceballs. You idiots, you verified their stunt doubles with the stunt double scene.
Nice.
A PSA from actual Coca-Cola, which is not actually them. We are proud to announce that we are the #1 plastic polluter in the world 4 years in a row. And with God as my witness, we vow to do it a 5th.
Well, that was Nestle.
Not real. There is a Ted Cruz fake account. During the winter freeze, I left Texas because many people lost power and were cold. It was uncomfortable for me because I live in the walls of your homes.
I actually believe that one.
Yeah. A ripoff of the Ben Shapiro account. We're not getting political here, but it does have political undertone if you know who he is. The difference between sex and gender is I've never wanted to have gender with my sister.
I don't think Ben Shapiro knows what sex is, to be honest.
I don't know.
I don't think Ben Shapiro could spell the word gender.
Oh, I believe he can spell it.
So
he's a dipshit.
This is Chiquita Bananas. I'm not sure if the second one is real or not, but we have at Chiquita Brands and at Chiquita. At Chiquita Brands posted, we've just overthrown the government of Brazil. At Chiquita then followed up and said, we apologize to those who've been served a misleading message from a fake account. We have not overthrown a government since 1954.
Fair. I mean, to be fair, if they overthrew Brazil, would it be really that bad?
I don't think so. We have at SpaceX Official with 2 L's who said, people often ask why we at SpaceX have accepted billions in government subsidies during our lifespan to do 1/4 what NASA pulled off decades ago, but with a privatized company. We don't have a good answer, but people often ask us.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and then my follow-up one that I liked from SpaceX Official. Someone told Elon his dick would be bigger on Mars, and that's honestly what he's been all about. Excuse me, that's honestly what all of this has been about.
That sounds about right.
There's some good ones here. There's some gold here. There's Bank of America at BOFA_. All loans are free. No account needed. No identity verification. No interest. We're basically giving away free money. No strings attached while supplies last.
Narrator. Supplies didn't last.
No, this one's not very good. I don't care about the fake Italian Elon Musk. That one's no fun. Okay, this one's kind of funny. Sorry, anyone who's Mormon, you'll enjoy this one. At actual BYU, that has a name of BYU with a verified check mark. Our check mark is as legitimate as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's up to you to figure out what that means. Oh, this one's pretty good. At Tesla Real, we will be offering 10,000 vehicles to support the Ukrainian military. Our cars are the most advanced explosive devices on the market.
Okay, hold on. What about those Note 9s that came out? I think those were the most advanced.
Those have probably already been all landfilled at this point in time.
Yeah, but that's why they're on the underground. They're in the black market, man.
Some of these ones aren't that great. We also saw them go around and make fake politician accounts.
Yeah.
There's a video going now. Coke is better from at PepsiCo.
Hey, that's bullshit because Pepsi's better.
There's people that brought Donald Trump accounts back to talk about how Obama was the best president. There's all sorts of stuff going on. This video's got a bunch. Let's see. Oh, here we go. At Star Wars with 3 S's. Get ready for some Ahsoka Tano times Grogu porn coming to Disney Plus tomorrow.
That means cross. Not
yes,
times.
Cross.
That's
That's a political one. We'll pass that. We talked about at Pepsi. At PepsiCo says Coke is better with the official verified check mark.
I want to punch that person in the face.
Okay, this one's kind of funny. I don't think it's real, but supposedly from the Washington State Department of Natural Resources. Update: the Twitter wildfire is at 44 billion acres and 0% contained.
I mean, that's just accurate.
Yeah. There's people that brought back the Donald Trump account that looked like it. I take full responsibility for January 6th. Obama was the best president of our lifetime. No contest. Biden won. Those ones are pretty good.
I thought it'd be funnier if he said Obama was the best president we've ever had. That would have been good.
Okay, this one is someone tweets, it was the best of times. It was the Mr. Bean's verified account offering eat your pussy of times. And quoting a Mr. Bean account that says, who wants Mr. Bean to eat their pussy tonight?
Wow.
Jesus. That is risque. And Rowan Atkins, come on.
Have fun, sir.
Let's see. Oh, there's a Queen Elizabeth one for Queen impersonators. Let's see. There's people.
I mean,
go ahead.
I mean, if we're going with impersonators, we can always just talk.
Yeah,
about
the Kyle Kinane one's good.
Oh, here you go. Here's from Nestle.
There it is.
We steal your water and sell it back to you. Lol.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a joke if it's real.
So this is my favorite subreddit to enjoy right now, is at r/real Twitter accounts. There's some gold here. This is the one that people are crediting with the parody account rule change they made. At Tesla Real, breaking: a second Tesla has hit the World Trade Center. And then after that, there was a rule change saying accounts must be engaged in parody and include parody in their name, not just their bio.
That one's a bit dark.
That one's a bit dark. Oh, here you go. At actual Coca-Cola. If this gets 1,000 retweets, we'll put cocaine back in Coca-Cola.
And how many retweets does it have?
1,644 when the picture was taken.
Go.
Let's get some Coca-Cola and have a good night.
Here is a fake Valve software one. Hey, it's me, Evolve. I'm here to announce Real Half Guy 3 out tomorrow. Real, not fake. Here's the scoop and a picture of an ice cream scoop. Oh, here's from Game Freak. We know how much Willie loves Game Freak. Yeah, you can fuck the Pokemon in the new one.
That's so messed up.
It's really messed up.
No, it would be funny if people didn't actually want to do that.
That's true. At the fake SpaceX account again. I know we said we'd be on Mars by now, but it turns out it's really far away.
I actually love the idea that like they just figured that out. But like, dude, like it's far. Like it's really far.
Oh, here you go. Here's from an Elon Musk account that says it's verified. We're not sure if it actually is. If you see a Tesla driving, please, for the love of God, jump in front of it. Our AI is constantly learning and every sacrifice counts. Heart.
Are you kidding? That could be from him.
This is the one I really enjoyed, and I guess we can end up here on a second. But at Doja Cat had changed their name to Christmas and said, I don't want to be Christmas forever. At Elon Musk, please help me. I've made a mistake, because they changed it so you couldn't change your name if you were verified. He replies back, you should be able to change your name now. They reply back, thank you, having changed their name to Elon Musk and their profile picture to Elon Musk. Oh, okay, one last one from McDonald's instead of McDonald's. Proud to announce that all McDonald's locations will now be serving Beyond Meat. Our meat is far beyond its expiration date.
There you go.
So yeah, $8 really stopped the Twitter trolls from having fun in LOLs. Yeah. Now, we did get some good laughs out of this. The Twitter trolls in this regard, they're mostly harmless because we had good laughs about it. But there is actual impacts we've seen economically because Eli Lilly, the company that sells brain fart, insulin, had pretty much said insulin's going to be capped at $20 or free or whatever, and their stock price tanked when it was found out that wasn't the case, or when it was found out that that was said. Then there's also other problems of people, impersonating actual figures and trying to scam people out of money and account access and things like that. So while we can laugh about the Twitter verification model, here's what I would tell you guys, and this kind of ties into our news with Kevin Conroy's passing. If you are using Twitter in any way, shape, or form to try and figure out what's going on in the world, you can't trust anything you can trust things even less now, I guess is the best way of putting it.
Yeah.
You could have reasonable expectations. Someone with the verified checkmark before was who they said they were, and arguably was probably reporting something that is factual. But now you have no idea because you have McDonald's who's verified. You've got McDonald's who's the real company that's verified, and things like that. This whole attempt to give the checkmark to everyone because it became a status symbol for some reason has kind of ruined what actually worked about it, which was knowing someone is who they say they are. So just be careful.
Yeah,
we can have some
There's
lulls.
a lot of dumb out there. Be aware.
Yeah, I mean, that was the problem. I literally, when Kevin Conroy passed, is I was trying to find from sources I could trust, and I was like, I have no idea. And if you use a third-party Twitter account, what I found out is you can see that verified check mark, but in order to tell the difference, you have to use the official Twitter account and click on the check mark, and then it shows you whether it's verified because they paid for Twitter Blue or verified because, they're actually a person of significance who should be verified. Third-party Twitter apps aren't going to tell you that, which makes it even more difficult. I mean, the simplest thing would have been, if you want to have a vanity check mark, make it a different color and keep the blue check mark for everyone else. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But it sure is funny as hell to watch Twitter meltdown.
And there's a whole lot of dumb out there. But yeah,
which is kind of
funny.
Kind of a bummer because I enjoy that social media platform in a lot of cases when it's positive. Let's put it that way. And most of the time, I'm so small, nobody bothers coming after me for dumb trolling stuff. So we've got that, I guess. Although I'm sure if someone's watching this, I'm going to get trolled now. So feel free.
I mean, hopefully.
Send your hate mail to @SouthPorky.
Yes. Or js@gonnageek.com. That's where the email goes.
If you send it to JS, make sure you don't include any H's.
Yes. Well, that's Wing that did that. JS didn't have problems with H's.
Oh, that's right. It was Wing.
It was Wing. Well, that's my news. We had some good lulls. We talked about fake accounts. Go to real Twitter accounts on Reddit. You can have some more fun with it. And just be smart when you're on the Reddits. That's what I got. Let's move on. Start wrapping things up with our final news story. Mr. Willie Nelson. We go to you for game reviews and do reviews and things like that. What do we got this week?
This week we have a brand new release that came out Wednesday. That is God of War Ragnarok.
Boy.
Boy. That's all. That's my best Christopher Judge. So God of War, for those of you who didn't know, is a over-the-shoulder, third-person action-adventure beat-em-up type of game. Very, very story-driven. You kind of caught up with this genre. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Story picks right up after the last God of War. I'm going to tell you right now, after playing 30 minutes into it, after when I started, I was already knew this is game of the year right here. This is going to win game of the year.
So
people are going to be saying,
is anyone surprised by that thought though? Because that's kind of what they're known for with their quality as of late, is that it's going to win game of the year as soon as it drops.
Well, I mean, there was a game that came out at the beginning of this year that people were saying it was going to be game of the year, and still might be. I'm not sure of that. I didn't really play it. The Souls games are not my thing, but the game, of course,
fair.
I mentioned is Elden Ring.
Yeah. Well, you could also just be like Far Cry and release a Game of the Year edition when it wasn't Game of the Year.
Yeah, I don't know why they call them that. I mean, I'm sure they were Game of the Year somewhere.
Yeah, it could. They made up their own vote internally as to what Game of the Year was, and then did a version off of that. But
I mean, it works.
Yeah.
Gets the lawyers right.
Yeah. I mean, I was only bringing up that fact though, that should anyone be surprised, because they've set the bar so high with the God of War series as of late that, like, I just kind of assumed as soon as it drops it was going to be Game of the Year for that year because of how good the last one was.
Well, of course, the previous one I mean, I hate the title of it. It's the same problem with Halloween. It's just titled God of War.
Yes.
So that's always fun. But, yeah, like if you don't remember, 4 years ago, God of War came out. It was not really a reboot, but it was kind of...
It was a restart, I guess, is the way to do it.
Kinda. I mean, it's still a continuation of what came before.
So I guess it's a good jumping on point for new fans because it didn't really rely on you having played all of the older games. You kind of understood early on.
Kinda. There are definitely callbacks to it. Even into this one, they're still calling back, telling stories of before. And I do enjoy that. But yeah, it's I don't know what to call it. It's not a reboot, not even a soft reboot. It's a continuation, but it's a whole new thing. It's kind of like what
it's kind of
Yakuza Like a Dragon did.
It's kind of a relaunch, but it doesn't really undo any of the canon previously. So like they just made a new good place for people to hop on.
And even with the one that came out 4 years ago, it was even a change up, kind of like what Resident Evil 4 did, where instead of like a different camera, or as a fixed camera, like the other God of Wars, it's now a behind the shoulder camera of the main protagonist here, Kratos. In God of War Ragnarok, you know what I'm going to say? You have multiple protagonists you play as. I'm going to say that much.
Okay.
Without spoiling anything, because there's a lot of story goes on in here, and Thor shows up in the very beginning. I'm going to say that you kind of knew Thor was coming if you played the last one. And I was looking at him, and I heard the voice, and I was like, "Is that Josh Brolin?" No, it's not. I have to look it up. I had to look it up, and the actor was from the one I know him from is Sons of Anarchy. He played Opie.
Oh, it's like Ope?
The best friend. Yeah. Yeah, he has this very similar voice to
Ryan Hersling.
Ryan Hurst. Yeah. It's just Hurst.
Or was it
yeah,
Hurst?
that was it. Yeah, I know. I looked up the other day because I was like, "This is killing me. Who is that?"
He's got an awesome voice for it. Then
he does.
Oh yeah, and it does sound like Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin.
I'm getting the J's all mixed up.
You're thinking Thanos, not his father.
Is James
Brolin is Josh Brolin's father, isn't it?
Was he a Western movie guy or something?
He's done all sorts of stuff. He's an older actor.
Fair enough.
Also has a very distinct voice, though.
Oh, fair enough. Kind of like Sam Elliott.
Yeah.
But digression. I forget the guy who plays Odin, but I didn't actually look that up at all because that guy, every time he's in there, he chews up the scenery full force. I want to say if you're curious about how the taste of the story is, you can look up with that because this is like in the very beginning, it's right after the starting area of the game. You could look up Kratos meeting Thor. If you want a good taste of what the story gives you, how it tastes, if you will. I like that. It's very pungent.
What?
Very pungent?
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with that.
So not repugnant, but pungent.
Or pungent? Yeah. Is that what we're talking about?
Pungent, that's what I meant.
I think that's what he meant.
I'm very confused.
Brain not here. It's because I'm not Twitter verified.
Willie's very pungent.
Well, I'll give you $8 if you want to be verified for a month.
I'm thinking.
That would be hilarious.
I'm thinking.
How many Willie Nelson tweets could he send out in a month as a verified Willie Nelson?
I don't think at South Porky would be a good Willie Nelson.
Well, there is another guy whose name is at Elon Musk, whose name is Elon Musk, and they banned him temporarily, I believe, because they thought he was parodying. He's like, it's not my fault we have the same name.
Yeah.
I mean, could it be? Did he change his name?
No, he did not change his name, is my understanding.
Had to ask. Yeah, but God of War, the combat is... The combat is very precise, and oh man, I'm just going back and thinking about it. This game.
You gonna make it there, man.
I'm gonna make it.
Speak, boy.
It's been a day.
Boy, it's 12:30.
10:20. What are you talking about?
This afternoon, man. Yeah, the combat's very very precise, very fun. You got your Leviathan axe, just like from the last game, that pretty much acts like Thor's hammer, where it comes back to you. You press triangle, it'll always come back to you, even if you throw it. And you also have access to the Blades of Chaos or the Blades of Athena. I can never remember which ones they were. I know the blades got swapped out in one of the previous games, like 2 or 3, and I can't remember which one they're on. But yeah, you still got your blades. You still have upgrades. I don't think the Infinity Gauntlet makes a return here like it did in the 2018 one. They had like a mock Infinity Gauntlet that you could have, and they only had 3 slots that you could put 6 special gems in. That doesn't make an appearance, but Draugor's back, Trolls are back, Odin's back, Strigas are back, werewolves are there. It's mass hysteria. Ragnarok is come. Ragnarok will happen. Let's see how it goes. I'm 25 hours in. I have heard things that it's about 70 hours long. I don't know if that's true, but
If so, that's not bad.
I mean, for this type of game, it seems kind of long if it's 70 hours, but everything I've been doing has just been constant, just entertainment, just constant entertainment. There's like whole segments where you go off for a while and you're just going through it. It's a very linear game, very linear. But
Okay.
it does have moments of kind of free range to move out in this bigger area that you can choose to go to unlock other stuff. A little bit like the Ubisoft model, the Assassin's Creed, kinda, but not to that extent. Like a very centerfied, in a very centerfied way, because you do travel. What is that tree called? Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil, yeah.
The world
You do-
tree.
Yeah, you do travel through Yggdrasil to go to the different realms. Midgar, Striffelheim,
Something like that.
Something like
Nephilim.
that.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Niflhelm. Yeah, my pronunciation's gone.
Yeah, all those words are tough.
Asgard is on there. Let's see if we go there or not. But it is one of the pretty much Odin has closed off all of them, but you have a secret way of getting through them. So, yeah. I'm only 25 hours in. Trying to get further and further in. The difficulty is ramping up. I'm not going to lie. In the last one, to get the Platinum Trophy, I did dumb it down to easy for that very last... spoilers for a 4-year-old game. The last Valkyrie fight that you go through.
I'm like half an hour into that game.
Well, Valkyrie fight. That doesn't mean anything to you. It won't mean anything to you even when you find out.
Actually, I'm trying to think. I think I got like 6 hours into that. The new first God of War, the Nordic one. See, I got to where I met the World Serpent and that giant bridge. So I got to that part.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the Temple of Tyr or something like that.
Yeah. So yeah, I plan on getting back to it. Yeah, that was one I haven't completed because it is a fun game.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm trying to keep this as spoiler free as possible.
Much appreciated.
It is fumbled my words.
So
a couple
Willie,
times.
while you're thinking through that, I know it's on PS5. Is this also available for PS4?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Then I will get to play it.
Oh, depending upon your PS4,
Pro.
Oh yeah, you shouldn't have any problems. I've heard like the original PS4, it is like a NASA engine.
Oh, I don't doubt it. Well, even the PS4 Pro regularly was. Like cinematics in Spider-Man, you just hear the fans going. Woo! You're like, holy hell.
Oh no, noise cancellation.
Oh, well, see, I play on my surround sound.
I mean, I would if mine wasn't broken.
Yeah.
Well, my sound bar.
I wish my PS4 worked with my Dolby Atmos. That's the problem. My Xbox works with Dolby Atmos.
What do you
Soundbar woes.
I'm sorry, what, Willie?
What do you mean it doesn't?
There's no Dolby Atmos sound that comes out of my PlayStation.
Oh yeah. Sony definitely dropped the ball on the PS4 Pro.
Yeah.
The no 4K disc drive was fucking stupid. What you're saying right now is fucking stupid.
Wait, what?
You know what I meant by that.
I was like, I didn't
About
say...
the sound.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fair.
And honestly, if it wasn't for the stack of games that I have that are just going to res up, like if I couldn't just instantly play Amazing Spider-Man, Miles, Dead by Daylight, all of those, if I didn't have all those games just ready to go from PS4 to PS5 without having to restart anything, I would just buy an Xbox at this point because Sony has pissed me off to that point. It's like, it's so annoying.
You know how
they fixed a lot of the problems with PS5.
Yeah. The nice thing there, and this is not me console war or anything like that, is like if I wanted Dolby Atmos, I just installed the app on my Xbox, and then I had Dolby Atmos sound, and it's free for surround sound, and you pay $15 for the headphone version of it.
Yeah,
it was nice.
That's
cool.
Yeah, should be.
We'll get back to that later.
PlayStations.
But yeah, it's fucking weird. You have to download an app.
Well,
to get your speakers to work.
Remember how much? No, they'll work just fine. You just won't get Dolby Atmos sound because there's a cost for the license for Atmos. So that's how they get around it. Basically, is it doesn't ship on there. You have to choose to install it, and then I guess the licensing cost comes into play somehow. I don't know exactly how it works. Same reason for you complained about the friggin' you had to install the Blu-ray player app on there.
Oh, I know that was stupid.
Yeah.
Put a disc in, can't play it. Got to download a player.
Yeah, I'll download a player.
So why is there a disc drive in here?
It'll take 15 seconds. It's so you can play your video games. You can still play games without the Blu-ray player app.
On the Xbox One, shortened for all-in-one.
Okay, what are you talking about? I don't care. I'm just pointing out the fact that it takes like 30 seconds to download the app and you're good to go. Who cares? It's the dumbest complaint ever.
Oh, it is, but it's still a complaint.
I mean, that's fair. Let's get back.
I can be stupid if I want.
That's fair, especially once your Twitter verified. But let's get back to you summing up your thoughts on God of War Ragnarok. Mm-hmm. Sell the people on it. Not that they really need selling, because I think it sells itself.
I'm just going to restate. After the first 30 minutes, I knew this was Game of the Year, and I knew I was going to enjoy the entire ride. I've not seen a missed beat in this game yet.
That's an awesome sign to me.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any problem. I haven't finished beating the last one, so I'll finish that, and then I'll go back and start this one. I didn't have any complaints with it either. That's the thing, is like, there was some stuff I was like, oh man, I'm a little stuck, and I went online and got some pointers and stuff, but like, there wasn't a point I was like, oh, this game, what the fuck are they doing? I don't understand. It was fun all the way through. I've had no issues with it. And I like the fact that they put out a full game, basically, that doesn't rely on a bunch of patches on day one to make sure it works properly.
Oh, yeah. Nope, none of that. As far as I know, I don't think they're going to have any DLC, just like the last one.
Yep, and they don't go on the Call of Duty approach now, which is put 75 megs on a Blu-ray disc and you download the rest.
Yep. Yeah. What's the why even pay for that Blu-ray disc if that's all you're going to put on there?
Because people want to have their physical copy and be able to flip it. That's what it comes down to, basically.
Just put it on a DVD disc then, or like
a
standard.
For all I know, it is on a standard disc. I don't know, but it's also at this point in time, how much does a Blu-ray disc cost in comparison to a DVD? It could just be negligible cost difference.
Yeah, for what they're putting on it, could be a CD.
For the volume in which they're printing and buying discs, it may not matter. I don't know.
Fuck it, just put it on a CD-R. Don't even put a label on it. Just ship it in the case.
Let's just go the bootleg version, like back in the day, where you'd get a disc that just has some Sharpie written on it.
And just because it says Call of Duty on it, everyone will still fucking buy it. Because
not me.
People don't want to vote with their wallet. They want to complain about it every year, but you still buy it every year, so they think, oh, there's nothing wrong with it.
Caveat.
You don't like it.
If it comes to Game Pass that I can play the campaign for free or as part of my subscription each year, I'll play the campaign as part of Game Pass. I don't care about the multiplayer, but I'll play the campaign. Willie, it's already a sunk cost. I'm already subscribed.
Fair enough. Any more questions?
How many times does he say boy?
Surprisingly less.
Oh, okay.
It is a handful of... Oh, I will say, yeah, the time has passed. Atreus is now a teenager. How old? I'm not sure. 14, 15, 16, maybe? Somewhere around there. So he's not so much a boy as much a boy?
More of a question mark?
Dude?
Are you a boy?
So, yeah, stuff like that. Chris, you have a question?
I didn't have a question, but yes, I did. Now I remember. So, ranking scales. Rankings are hard to do, things like that. Just preliminarily, I don't want to ask you to put it on a 1 out of 10 scale, 1 out of 5. Just thumbs up or thumbs down. Your feelings on this game. I'm pretty sure I know. 2 thumbs way up.
You just told me thumbs up or thumbs up. I'm giving you 2 thumbs up. That should tell you
There
something.
you go.
I'm breaking the meters.
That's fair. Like, I started to agree with a lot of these sites that are coming out. Like, grading is so subjective as people are nitpicking things. Like, I'll give this a 7.9 and this an 8.1. I just want to know whether people like a game or not. So thumbs up or thumbs down is the indicator for me anymore.
Here's one negative thing I can say about it, but it's in a bunch of games. Like when you got like some time, you're exploring around the area, like you're looking in little nooks and crannies to find shit because they hid shit away in there, and then you have like a companion character with you, and they say, "Hey, you gonna take all day over there or something?" And I'm like, developers, motherfuckers, if you didn't go around hiding shit in here, I wouldn't be out here looking for it. So why are you getting on to me for looking for shit where you hide them?
Okay, that's funny.
Like, that's a little nitpick. But
yeah, it's a nitpick, but it's funny.
Like, why do they do that? Like, don't make fun of me because I'm looking for shit, because you're the ones who make shit like that.
Yeah, there's always little
That makes me
glowies
feel
hidden
bad
places.
about it.
Yeah, we have to go look for them because they're hidden there.
So for comparison, a game that came out about the same time, Sonic Frontiers came out like a week or 2 ago. It's already down $20 on sale. Ooh. Oh, don't get the Switch port is what I've heard too. It's real bad.
There's
on
a Switch version?
Yeah, it's supposedly real bad.
Sure.
I only know because Wario64 was talking about the fact that it was on sale. I follow Wario64 for gaming deals, and it gave us a nice compare and contrast with God of War Ragnarok.
I don't foresee this game having a sale other than maybe like a special Black Friday something or other.
Not this year,
I don't
though.
see this going on sale. Yeah, I was gonna say until 2023, Chris.
Well, then you and I are in agreement.
I know, Chris.
2 thumbs
yeah,
up.
2 thumbs up. 2 thumbs up. It is so far it is better than the original God of War. Just how much story is packed in with it is just melting your eyes and brains of every bit of story, and it's so good you want to know where it's going. You think you know where it's going, then it changes it up. There's something else, and I can't even say what those else's is. Yeah, else's is.
That's fair. I look forward. I look forward to your impressions once you've completed it all. Not necessarily so you can go spoiler filled, but more of now that you've got the whole picture, having played the whole thing. Did it all live up to your expectations in the end? Did the difficulty ramp up as you expected to? Things like that. I'm very curious, and I anticipate the case will be yes, it'll be good, but who knows?
So many of the boss battles have been just incredible.
Oh yeah, awesome.
There is one fight you're playing. I'm trying to be very vague here. You're playing as another protagonist, and you're fighting against this giant woman in her own kitchen, and it is very particular how you had to fight her, because you can't just whack away at her at all. And the it's just the use of the area. They just know what they're doing. It is super fun. I'm so hard trying not to be spoilers.
We appreciate it.
Like can you try and not use an S? Because it's hard.
That's fair. I get what you're saying, and we appreciate you not spoiling the people and us, because I know I want to play it at some point.
I would say if you want to look up that Thor thing, like I said, it's the first 30 minutes. Look at that little cinematic.
That's fair.
And you get a taste of it.
I'm sure it's on YouTube.
Spoiling.
From a Let's Play.
Yeah, I've seen it on YouTube.
Kind.
I've shared it with people. Because I can't go back and right where that happened. My save. But yeah, I had to show people, like, yeah, look at this shit. Look at it. Look at it.
Willie,
awesome.
I appreciate you sharing with us your impressions in the game. I'm glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're getting to play it on your PS5. Is it a worthy addition to the PS5 library? Does it feel properly next gen? I guess would be my final question.
I'm not sure how much it was done to be on the PS5.
Enough that they're able to give it PS5 packaging or specific packaging.
Oh well, I mean, it is a PS. There's like, but there's two versions. I know they were. I think the way I heard that they were making the PS4 version, and so it's kind of like it's like a half step where like, oh, the PS. Oh, we can do this, and we just up it more, even better. So I think it's like kind of like that.
Okay.
Where it's not like a full fledged like this is the PS5 version, this is the PS4 version. It's just it's kind of this is better, but it's not like a whole next gen upgrade. You're still gonna have just as much fun on the PS4.
It's not
like
a giant leap.
Like it looks gorgeous. All the particle effects. I gotta see if I can get a thing to share with you guys. There's so many particle things. Well, we'll find out if I can do that.
Well, cool. Thank you, Willie, for sharing that with us, and I'm sure the audience appreciates it as well. That being said, we are about an hour and 25 minutes into things, so we need to start wrapping things up. And how we wrap up each week is we have our little traditional segment, a bit called What I'm Into. It's when we share the geeky and nerdy things we've been getting into, because you guys may want to go check them out yourselves. And I'm going to toss things to Willie D. Nelson first, because he's motioning at me emphatically behind the scenes.
I've been getting into God of War Ragnarok next.
That was my assumption that's what it was. I'll go next, and then Bachman can wrap things up for us. So things I've been getting into. I've got a notebook. I keep track of these things in now, too, so it makes it a little bit easier. So they've been doing some Black Friday sales early on movies. So I bought some new movies, some stuff I wanted to watch or to backfill some gaps. These are all 4K Blu-rays except one because I missed the 4K sale on one of them. But picked up Top Gun for $6. Yes?
You've been getting them from where?
Amazon and Best Buy, predominantly.
Okay.
These are physical that come with digital slips in them. I should rephrase. So got Top Gun for like $5 or $6 because I didn't own it at all. And I said for $5 or $6, that one's fun. I need to have it. The original Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love that movie. It's like a guilty pleasure movie for me. It was $7.99 for the 4K 30th anniversary copy. And I went, okay, for $7.99, you've got me. This is one I wanted to see, but I hadn't had a chance to see it. It's an Edgar Wright movie. Last Night in Soho. Picked it up for $10. I haven't seen it, but I said for $10 it's worth checking out because I couldn't even rent it digitally for cheaper. So just buy the copy.
Yeah, I want to hear what you think about that because we got it showed up on HBO Max. It was one of their preview movies, I think like 3 or 4 weeks ago. It is good. It is unlike anything Edgar Wright has ever done.
That's what I've heard. So I'm intrigued.
So yeah, it is like when Kevin Smith did Red State.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost that far off to the right field for Edgar Wright. It's that much. There is no comedy in this fucking movie.
You have my attention, sir.
Yeah,
you have my attention.
It's good. And yeah, I mean, Matt Smith and Anna Taylor-Joy, it has amazing actors in it. And Terrence Stamp. Terrence Stamp's in it.
This is the one I missed the 4K sale on. I wish I'd gotten it. The 4K disc sold out in 30 seconds. So I got just the regular Blu-ray for $7.99. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Everyone has talked about how good it is. I wanted to see it. So $7.99 for the Blu-ray with the digital copy. I really wish I had caught the 4K version, but I'll live without it. I'll upscale. It'll be fine. 2 more. This one was just dumb, and I wanted it. It was $7.99 because I have the first one. Sonic the Hedgehog 2. I bought it for $7.99. I enjoyed the first one.
I can't blame you.
I wanted to see the second one. And then finally, because I love the movie and I had not bought a physical version of it, I think I'd bought it digitally with expiring Google Play credits. Knives Out. I love Knives Out. It's fun. 4K disc for $9.99, I think it is.
Yeah.
And I want to rewatch that before the sequel comes out. I think it's next month is when that drops. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, Glass Onion I think is December.
Yeah, Glass Onion's next month. So let's get into games. I've been playing Marvel Snap a lot. You heard us in the pre-shows. We were talking about our decks. I have an Odin Panther deck, as I call it, that I really like a lot that's on reveal based. That for some of the lands we've had coming up, it was doing double on reveal effects, so I could drop a Black Panther and get 40 points out of him, which was kind of great, combined with my Odin then. Then I've also been playing around with an Infinite test deck, which I'm not 100% sure I like, but it has enough flexibility that I can be like, oh, I'm getting the fuck out because I know I won't be able to play Infinite properly to win. So I've enjoyed trying to figure out the right way to put that flexibility in there. And it's actually made the Vision card really useful for me on that deck. Because for those who aren't aware, the Infinite card is you can't play anything on turn 5 if you want to drop Infinite on turn 6. So if it looks like I'm about to not be able to play that the way I want, I generally will have the Vision card in my hand. I can drop it and then move it next turn if I need to some other land. And I put America Chavez in there as a 6 card that always appears on turn 6. So I'm guaranteed between Vision and her to get almost 20 power to be able to split that up between lanes if I need to. So it gives me a nice option to pivot out. Or if someone kills my Sunspot because I didn't get it shielded properly, that gives me my pivot. So that missing turn 5 is not a problem. Continuing to play Cyberpunk 2077. I love that game. I've just been playing a bunch of side quests. I could have gone and beat the game at any point. I'm like 48 hours in on my current build, almost level 50, and it's just a blade spec build that it's designed for me to slow time, go in there, hack and slash the shit out of things, and run away. I can't hack, can't do anything like that. So if there's security cameras, I start shooting them out with a pistol with a silencer on it. And if there's turrets there, I'll just run up to a turret and slice it to hell and run away.
So you're a min-maxer.
Pretty much. And it's really fun. And the way I've got it spec'd right now, it stacks like the cold-blooded trade up, which ups my health regeneration, ups my critical damage. And with the implant that I have, it'll slow time 40% for 30 seconds. So in that amount of time, I can do a lot of damage and run away. I enjoy it. It's fun.
Just to piggyback on you a little bit, Chris, I did download the PS5 version of Cyberpunk 2077.
Nice. Have you had a chance to play the PS5 version yet?
Oh, yeah, I played it a little bit. I was like a day or two before Ragnarok came out. I was like, I just want to test, see what it looks like. Just not get too into it, but you do a little bit.
Okay.
And the thing I like the best is the adaptive triggers.
I've heard that's really cool and well done on there.
It is. I saw a video. I'll share it with you guys afterwards of how it's done, like how it fights you back, and it is very interesting. I was not thinking that's how it did it.
How far are you in Cyberpunk right now, Willie?
I only played it for a couple hours, so not that.
Just have you pulled off the heist yet?
No.
Okay.
I was just messing around. I didn't want to do too much. So when I come back to it, I'm like, oh, I forgot everything. I want to make sure
That's fair.
I haven't unlocked anything, so that way it will teach me all as soon as I start unlocking. But I'm past the beginning.
I mean, everything up through the heist is basically like the introduction of the game. And
I don't even know what
heist,
fucking you're talking about, the heist.
So you haven't gotten very far at all in there. Okay, never mind. You'll get a mission that's basically a heist where you have to go and rob someone at a tower. And that's the first act of the game. That sets up a bunch of things, and that's when Johnny Silverhand appears and things like that. After that,
yeah. Back when I played on the PS4, I didn't even get to Johnny Silverhand.
Okay.
So.
Yeah, you got a ways to go.
Sorry to piggyback.
And then the final thing I've been getting into, because it hit Game Pass, so I was working on some stuff on my computer down here, and while I was letting it do its thing, I was able to put my laptop next to me via Game Pass streaming and started playing Vampire Survivors because it hit Game Pass. It's been out on Steam for a while. It's fun, and it's a side-scrolling roguelite kind of game, where you basically just run around the map and you kill vampires. And the whole concept of it is your weapons auto-fire and stuff like that, so really you're just trying to dodge and move around and dodge the vampires and collect more experience points and stuff like that. Go watch some
side-scrolling.
Well, it's not side-scrolling, but it's top-down. Think like Smash TV and things like that.
Okay, I think I've seen this game then. Yeah, I think I've seen this then.
Yeah. It's pretty fun, and like, I guess the guy made bank when it came out on Steam as an indie game and things like that, and has now been able to build a company around it and build out stuff. So it hit Game Pass for PC and console/streaming. So I gave it a try, and it's really fun. I can see where people would get addicted with it because I played a game. The next thing I knew, it was 20 minutes later. I'm like, oh, I just died. How long's it been? Shit, this was 20 minutes? Holy hell. I've had fun with it. So Vampire Survivors, it's really fun. I think it's just PC and Xbox right now. I'm not sure if it's on any other consoles yet. It would be a really good Switch game, though, because it doesn't have much in the way of system requirements. The Switch would run it real well, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's not like it's Sonic Frontiers or anything.
Yeah, it's all sprites. It's all sprite characters and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's what I've been getting into. Bachman, why don't you wrap things up for us? What you been getting into?
I'm getting caught up on my reading. I think I'm now back on track to hit my 30 books for this year. I've lowered my my grand total just because with work and everything, I haven't been reading as much as I used to. I did finish another book this week, following suit with some more Sew and Jump. I read the first My Hero Academia. Not too bad, kind of entertaining. I think I like Chainsaw Man a little more, but I see where like people seem to really enjoy this one. I might give the cartoon another shot just because now that I know a little more about the storyline. The first episode of the cartoon I didn't really like, but it was kind of entertaining.
But how did you like the live action version?
They did a live action My Hero Academia?
Yeah, Sky High.
Oh well, yeah. So yeah, it's that same type of feel. Yeah, kids with powers going to school. But yeah, to go along with my Chainsaw Man, which I absolutely loved, I ordered some things through AliExpress. So I've got some Christmas presents that I won't share or show because they're for my fiance's kid. But along with ordering those for her, I got these for myself. So I have a nice little Chainsaw Man figure that came with all the pieces. I just had to put it together. And yeah, it's just an awesome little minifig basically on a stand. And he's got his giant chainsaw head and his, ridiculously large tongue sticking out. Yeah, fun little thing. And, AliExpress, so this was like $5. So that was nice. It just came in pieces. I just had to put it together. So might glue it. Might also throw a little paint on it and just redo the blood a little bit. I'm caught up on that show, which is stupid and hilarious. Chainsaw Man might be, I think, my favorite anime since like I watched Akira. Like it's so dumb and filled with ridiculous action for the most ridiculous reasons, but the storytelling in it is fantastic. So yeah, I love it. It's just a fun show. I'll probably end up getting more of the comics as well because yeah, these little tiny the show and jump books are so quick, easy to read, and it does take a little bit to get your brain into the going top right to left bottom and like reading the opposite of the way English readers are meant to do. It takes a little bit of effort to like get your brain to go this direction. You're reading diagonally in the opposite direction. But yeah, once you're into it, like I read through half of that My Hero Academia yesterday and didn't think about it once, and I was basically reading backwards. So yeah, it's kind of cool because it's a different reading experience, and they're fun books. I mean, they are meant to be like basically like teen, preteen, for Japanese boys. And some of them are really great, some of them are whatever. But I mean, there's so many of them that it's kind of cool because like there's the amount of different like manga comics that are out there is just insane. And when you go look and see that like something like One Piece has like 1,000 volumes, like that thing's been running forever. Like some of those books have been out there a long time. And if I remember, I think
someone who's a One Piece fan has told me in the manga, which is further than the anime, is just getting started. They just got through their prerequisite phase.
Yeah, which is crazy. And I think Chainsaw Man, if I looked on Amazon, there's like 11 volumes of this size of book, and like this book here basically covers like the first 3 episodes of the show. So yeah, there's already like 11 volumes of this one. So yeah, some of those books have just been running forever, which is awesome because you get a hold of one, you find one you like, and sometimes there is a giant catalog for you to dig into, which is really cool. 3 movies to talk about. Very much had a full-blown Armageddon Deep Impact last night. We watched 2 movies. The first one was called Vivarium, which is family stuck in a house in the suburbs, and it is very much the Deep Impact knockoff of Don't Worry, Darling, Don't Worry, Darling, which is the one that has it's family stuck in the suburbs in the 50s, which that one has Chris Pine, Harry Styles, and what's her name? The new Black Widow.
Florence Pugh.
So it's them in the 50s. That one is an amazing flick. It's a head twister. I don't know if there's any way anybody could see what's coming when you're like halfway through that movie and things are going crazy, and then you find out what's actually happening. It is like I had 3 different ideas of where like what the twist was, and they were all so far off that I was like pleasantly surprised by the writing. Was really good. Harry Styles is actually a hell of an actor. Florence Pugh's great in it, and Chris Pine is very impressive playing a super creepy character. That dude can be creepy in a way that I had no idea of from all of like the charismatic roles he's played. He does creepy very fucking well. But yeah, Vivarium has was it Jesse Eisenberg and Imogen Poots, and it's very much the Deep Impact. Like they heard someone was doing Don't Worry, Darling, and Amazon ran off and spent like $20,000 and made a crappy knockoff. And so it's literally a couple get taken out to be shown a house, and then like the real estate agent disappears, and when they try to drive out of the neighborhood, they realize they can't, and they're like it just keeps bringing them back to the house that they were shown, and they end up being forced to stay there with this weird what looks like a human baby boy. And it's just it's a very strange movie. It was entertaining, but it's also one of those ones where at the end of it, there's zero explanation of what happened, why it happened. It's just, hey, a weird thing happened. Hope you enjoyed watching it. And yeah, it kind of felt like a letdown, where at the end of Don't Worry, Darling, you're like, holy fuck, that was good. This is the other one, Vivarium gets done, you're like, well, that was a movie I watched. So yeah, between the two, if you're going to see one for sure, HBO Max, Don't Worry, Darling, fantastic film. The acting is awesome, and yeah, like the weird 50s like neighborhood that they rebuilt, that they made for the movie is great. And one of the neighbors is freaking Ruxin.
Nick Kroll.
Nick Kroll, and he's fantastic in it as well. So yeah, it's a really good movie, but it's very much like very creepy, very well acted, very well shot, good script, good score, great 1950s music in it. Yeah, super fun movie. And then of course, Jan and I kept the streak alive. I celebrated Veterans Day by us going out Friday night and seeing Wakanda Forever. And it is not going to be like the international beast that the first Black Panther was, but I think it's because Ryan Coogler did the right thing and he walked a very, very thin tightrope where they honored Chadwick Boseman and they honored his character of T'Challa without making it feel at all like they were like using that to promote the film. And so they had to walk a very thin tightrope of having such an amazing actor and an amazing character then die when you're prepping your sequel. And that's not an easy thing to do and make it feel like you're not basically using the death of someone to promote a film. And you can see, watching this movie, you can see how much Chadwick meant to the people that were his on-screen counterparts. There are some amazing acting performances in this film, and I think a lot of it, I'll be honest, I don't think it's acting. I think at a lot of points in this film, these actors sat down and thought about what Chadwick meant to them, and just let that affect them on film for their performance. Letitia Wright does a scene, which I won't spoil anything, but there's a scene where I think she's literally just thinking about Chadwick Boseman. She's not in character thinking about T'Challa. She's thinking about the friend that they lost. And it's extremely well done. There's some huge changes for what Namor was in the comics to what Namor now is in the MCU. I'm not going to say I don't like it. I'm just going to say it's big differences. And it's kind of like the whole, you got to wrap your head around the idea that like Spider-Man's a kid that Iron Man gives a suit to. It's like, really? Like Spider-Man was a character first, but everything's a little different in the MCU. The actor that plays Namor is fantastic. He turns into just an amazing performance. And Winston Duke, the big gorilla man himself, is back, and they just lean heavily into like the comedy aspect of his character, and it's really the light part. He's the lightness of the show. Yeah, just great performances all around. Every actor in Wakanda Forever just kills it. There's some really cool fight sequences, and yeah, they walked that tightrope really well. Ryan Coogler did an amazing job, and so it's going to be interesting to see where they go forward now. And you can see that they set up a clear path for all the characters, which is really nice. And yeah, just a great overall, really good movie. And yeah, I mean the parts that they have in there that basically like just showing respect to Chadwick Boseman are extremely well done and don't feel cheesy. They don't feel like, you can see everything in this movie, credits to credits, is extremely well thought out, and they made sure they handled it correctly. And that was the best part about it, because none of it felt like a marketing machine. None of it felt like Marvel trying to make money. Like, it literally was like, hey, this guy was our friend and we loved him, and this is kind of our love letter to him and the work he did as this character. And that comes across full-heartedly and is just amazing. Yeah, Wakanda Forever was a good one. And then, yeah, that was about it. Yeah, playing Snap. I've gotten addicted to putting that sucker on my iPad now. So yeah, it's when I'm sitting here watching movies and stuff. If it's a TV show or a cooking show, which we also did. There's a thing, Let's Be Brunch or something. Dan Levy has his own cooking show now on HBO Max, since 3 episodes came out. And yeah, didn't even look to see what the show was. I just saw it's a cooking show with Dan Levy. I added it to my list, and me and my fiance started watching a show the other day on YouTube. I'm like, oh, when this is done, I got something to show you. She's like, oh, you just don't want to watch my video. I was like, no, I have something to show you. And then when I hit play on it and she saw who it was, she's like, okay, thank you.
Oh, speaking of,
she loves Dan Levy.
Cooking shows and stuff, I just happened upon this one, and probably because I'm late to the party. Mythical Kitchen on YouTube. Very entertaining.
Mythical Kitchen. I haven't heard of that one. What's that one about?
Well, it's a variety of different things, but the most recent one I watched is they're making an expensive version of the Whopper, and then they compared it to the regular Whopper, and theirs cost $250 to make because of the smoked Gouda and all this other stuff they put on it.
It is a spin-off of Good Mythical Morning.
Yes. I got introduced to it because the chef who is on Mythical Kitchen was like guest host on one of the Try Guys cooking episodes. So I was like, oh, he's interesting. Let me go check this out. And so I watched like 4 or 5 different episodes yesterday. They made their own version, like the KFC pot pie, for instance. In order to make it, they deep fried their own chicken in $90 of duck fat.
Wow. And, they just try to make it as expensive as possible?
It's kind of like Epic Mealtime in that regard, but it's not over the top. It's more of, let's make a decadent version of this and compare it to the original.
Okay.
They've got other stuff they do, but those are the ones I started watching, and they're fun.
Sounds entertaining.
There's some interesting cooking stuff on the Try Guys channel too.
Well, if we're getting YouTube suggestions, watch Molt on YouTube. He's a disc golfer and a snapper.
Red snapper?
I'd never heard of him.
A marble snapper.
I'll have to go check it out. But on that note, I think we are about ready to start shutting things down. So a big thank you to everyone who did join us live. I know we had V in the chat room. I know we had Random Rick reviews in the chat room. Maybe there's some other people lurking and we missed you. If we did, I apologize. So thank you for joining us. And if you want to join us live in the future, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, over at www.geeks.live on Sunday mornings. You can also catch the replay at youtube.com/GonnaGeek, or you can get the audio version of the podcast over at ATGNpodcast.com. Friendly reminder, we are streaming a new Gonna Geek show tomorrow, November 14th, 2022. So go check that out at 7 p.m. Eastern at GonnaGeek.com if you want to hear more of my dumb hot takes. Willie's rolling his eyes as I say that there. I see it. I see you.
Dumb hot takes.
I put my arm in a nice cold spot and it feels so good.
Don't ask. Don't anyone ask what that spot is. Nobody
no one wants to know where Willie's sticking his arm.
On my couch.
Okay.
It's like nice
and
cold.
Don't want to know.
All right. Well, before we shut this thing down, do you guys have any thoughts for the people that have joined us?
Apparently, you guys think it's illegal to have some pleasure in your fucking life.
I never
It is
said
when you
that.
do it.
Well, then fucking shoot me then.
All right. Well, on that note, we are going to shut things down. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday. And thank you so much, everyone, for joining us for more of our hot takes on life and everything in between. We will see you all next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this brand new episode of the All Things Good and Nerdy podcast. Don't forget, we'll be back next Sunday live at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central over at live.atgnpodcast.com, channel 3 of the Alpha Geek Radio app, and over at our network home at GonnaGeek.com/live. If you have any feedback for the show, please contact us atgnpodcast@GonnaGeek.com, on our hotline number at 304-806-ATGN, or even better, go to Twitter and send us a message at ATGN Podcast. The music you've heard in this show is produced by Kevin MacLeod and can be found at Incompetech.com.